welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different, something special, so I'm excited to share with you guys. So a while back in October 2021, my friend Tia gave me the idea that she'd love to watch a draw with me kind of style video. And this was actually a perfect idea because when she suggested this, I was actually in talks with the Chinese Canadian Collective to do a piece for their online magazine. The Chinese Canadian Collective, I'm gonna call them CCC from now on, is an Ottawa-based nonprofit org, I'm just reading off their website, that hosts digital media campaigns and community events around the Chinese Canadian experience. And last year during the peak of COVID, they published the first edition of their digital magazine. It's bilingual, so Chinese and English. It included artwork, photography, poetry, short stories from the Asian community, kind of just reflecting on the pandemic and how their culture, I guess our culture, because I'm Chinese American, Hong Kong to be exact, affects how we process these past few years. The illustrations and all the work are really great, really thoughtful, so check them out if you can. They definitely reflect a lot of similar feelings in me that I had during the past year or two, even though they're Canadian and I'm not, I'm in the States. So when CCC reached out to me about doing a piece for their second edition of their digital magazine surrounding the theme of language, I was very down. What does language mean to you and what experiences have you had, be it learning or losing a language? How does language connect us to ourselves and our families? What difficulties have language barriers made for you, or what opportunities for learning and connection has it served? So deep, so good. Okay, now this was months ago, and I am just now getting to editing this video together, and I don't believe the publication has gone live yet. I feel like things definitely just got pushed around, and there hasn't been really any updates from their end to me, but it's fine because I still ended up creating 3 different comics surrounding my personal experience working through my limited Cantonese with my family, who's all from Hong Kong. I wanted to share my whole process from concepting to sketching to inking it out on my iPad, and I want to share the final pieces with you. So I'm just gonna let voiceover me take it away and we'll get going. Alright, my idea was to illustrate not 1 but 3 comics that show the relatable struggle of not being fluent in your native home language, but trying your best. So I am very aware of how language has shaped me growing up. I speak Cantonese when I live with my parents, and I used to go back to Hong Kong almost every year when I was a kid to visit family. So did some very rough sketches of language barrier scenarios in my notebook. I did go to Cantonese school on the weekends when I was young, and like everyone else, I hated it and I quit before graduating, which I obviously regret now as an adult with very sad Chinese. If only I could go back and tell myself to stay. So I do know the very basics of reading and writing Chinese, and I planned on including lots of Chinese characters in my comics, but I have limited knowledge, so I had to ask my mom, look it up on the internet. So once I got everything planned out on paper, I set up my camera to film, and this is when I figured out the best way to film overhead with my tripod. And then I was set and ready to draw. I started in the morning to give myself plenty of time through the day. I opened up Procreate, my app of choice. I set up my art board. I took a big sip of tea, and it's time to draw. Here we go. My favorite brush to use in Procreate is the dry ink brush, which is one of the defaults that comes with the app. I love that it's easy to maneuver. I like the texture that it adds to my drawings. So my first idea for my comic is a one-sided conversation between me and my mom. So I'm drawing myself with a big mouth in the corner, my mom looking confused in the other, and I'm gonna fill in the middle in with my Chinglish, Chinese and English, of conversations that I've definitely had in the past with my mom. Half basic Canto, half English words dropped in. I'm telling her about dogs. I'm telling her what my doctor said. I'm asking her to take me to the store. I'm telling her I wasn't feeling well. Since I had written everything out in my notebook already with the help of my mom, it was easy getting it down on the screen, but the hardest part was definitely the layout and figuring how to fit all the characters in their own little speech bubbles. It took me a while to get this basic sketch down, but once I did that, I could choose my color palette and get to the inking. I chose a blue, pink, and yellow color palette, you know, because the colors looked cute together. It took me a few iterations to get in the flow and kind of figure out exactly how I wanted my little characters to look. And then I got started on my mom. In a few seconds, my mom's gonna interrupt and walk in on me trying to show me a Facebook video of a chipmunk that she saw on Facebook. And you'll get to hear some of my broken Chinese when I'm speaking to my mom.
Bird feed 嗰度咧 ，squirrel 都成日都係食。
You know, I read that you can put red pepper. You can see red pepper flakes. You can put it there and it scares the squirrels away. But birds can't taste 辣。
Really？但係朝頭早就多數啲 bird 食先啊嘛。
但係佢啲 cheeks 好大，因為佢
逐，佢將啲嘢塞晒入去就走啦，係啊。我唔要咁個眼袋咁樣樣。
Okay.
我要靚啲嘛 ，I'm a 靚啲嘛。我要靚啲。
咁就係咁咯。Ma'am,
Okay.
it's just drawing.
Okay, alright. 我要靚啲嘛。
Okay.
I'm a 靚啲嘛。
Okay. Yes, so you got to hear a little bit of my Chinglish and also my mom complaining that I gave her freckles and eye bags. So I took them out and she was like, I need to be a pretty mom. And I was like, okay, yes, sure, fine. Anyways, once I got all the text and the basic outlines down, I could go in with the pink and yellow for filling in color. This comic definitely took the longest since there was just so much copy to lay out, but once I was done, I was really happy with how it turned out with the little pink and yellow accents. 1 down, 2 more to go. That's my mom in the corner saying, okay, your Chinese sucks. All right, my second comic idea was based on the idea that my mom would just send me long paragraphs in Chinese. Sometimes she'll type it up herself. Sometimes she'll just like forward me something that someone else sent her. Just like long paragraphs of Chinese. And I can read maybe 10 to 15% of it because my loser child self decided to quit Cantonese school. And this is all over WhatsApp, Hong Kong's messenger app of choice. Because I don't know the context of the message, I don't know what any of it freaking says, I just send back okay, or I send back thumbs up. It's very nice of my mom to assume that I am this advanced at reading Chinese, even though I never have been. Usually I can kind of like context clue it out, but when it's a paragraph like this, it's not gonna work. And she once forwarded me this picture of a flower, so I'm referring back to that message when I was drawing this, and including some of the Chinese characters that she sent me that I could fit in the screen. And there's a second frame of my confused face and me sending back okay. So I sketched, inked, and colored this strip a lot quicker than my first one, and I am really happy with it. I think it looks really good. The yellow and pink are really working out. 2 down, onto the third comic. That is Eric, who FaceTimed me to check in and say hi. So for this third and final comic, I really had to think and reframe a bit because my original idea of showing a whole table of my parents and family friends at a big dinner table wasn't really gonna fit well in my artboard, so I ended up settling on just drawing me holding a menu, talking to a waiter off frame. This scenario I feel like is the most relatable, like when you're at a restaurant and you think you're all that, being able to order food in your second language, like the waiter says hello and you say lei ho back, and you just go down the list in your brain like bam, I want ha gao, bam, siu mai, bam, cha siu bao, bam, impressing your homies until you run out of juice and you just end up pointing to the pictures of the food in the menu. This comic ended up being the easiest because I could really easily just like duplicate my layers and just change something small in each frame. And there you go. You can tell it's a lot darker in my room right now, but these are my 3 finished comics as my submission for Chinese Canadian Collective's digital magazine. I think they turned out great, really easy to understand, and I think my little characters look really cute. Alright, hi, I'm back. I did end up sending these 3 comics to CCC along with a write-up kind of explaining the story behind each of these, connecting to my personal experiences. They are approved and everything, but I haven't heard back from them on when publication exactly will be, but hopefully it's soon so you can see my comics alongside other Chinese, American, and Canadian artists and writers and photographers. Overall, I really appreciated that this project let me reflect on how much I value being able to speak a second language, even if it is kind of poorly, and how it connects me to my parents, my extended family in Hong Kong, and just in general, I have a really great appreciation for my culture. I hope you guys found value in this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me draw sped up 10 times, seeing my process and my reflection behind these comics. They were really fun to create, and I'll keep you guys updated on if it gets published. So thanks for watching this video. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah.